today is about how we updated our front door from an old, not ugly, but just kind of like a bland, not really cute front door to this new fiberglass front door. Energy efficient and awesome, and we love it. When we bought this house in 2018, the house is kind of old and brown and not very happy looking, so we did do a little bit of patching and painting on the exterior, but in the last 5 years the lawn guys are here, so there's a little bit of noise in the background, and this is embarrassing, but anyway, yeah, so the last 5 years we didn't really do much to update the exterior of the house. We did work on some of the interior, and then we had kids, so we didn't really do a lot of projects. They're a little bit older now, so we'll be tackling some of the bigger projects we've had on our list. This has been something that's been on my mind from day one, just because our house is smaller, as you're gonna see, and it doesn't have a lot of light. It's kind of dark. So not only is it a big change on the exterior, but I think it's a huge change for the interior as well. It just brings a lot of character to the front of the house, to the house on the inside too. If you have a smaller house, I think this is probably like the biggest bang for your buck that you could possibly really do. Not only is it energy efficient, it's beautiful, it lets light in, all those good things. Okay, so I gotta move to this side. I mean, the door itself was probably around $1,500, and then if you want to have someone install it, probably looking more towards like $2,500 plus. And I'm gonna post a link to the door that we bought. We bought a pre-hung door, so that means that you buy the door and it's already set in the frame, and that makes it a little bit easier, especially for like first-time DIYs. People like me and my husband who are doing the project, and it comes with a new threshold as well. So it's just less to figure out, and we pretty much just followed the instructions that came with the door, watched a couple of YouTube videos, and then just used a little bit of common sense. But there's definitely some challenges getting the door level and installing that we're going to share with you. Oh, and one more thing that we found out because we got some quotes done to replace the windows and doors in the house. The guy that did the quotes told us about there's a new IRS energy efficiency incentive program that they're doing starting in 2023, I think. That basically if you have new windows and doors that meet these standards for energy efficiency, you can get an additional tax break or a refund. I'm not sure exactly. I need to look into it because we haven't done our taxes yet. I will be looking into it, and I'm going to post the link for you guys to figure it out as well. First step was to take off the trim from the existing door, and I wanted to check also the rough opening before I took our door out to make sure that the new door would fit and we wouldn't be without a door. Kind of important. And once we got that off, it was a little bit of a struggle there, trying to figure out the angle to get this trim off in that small doorway that we have. Yeah, there's me being frustrated. How am I going to get this off? And then once that trim was off, you use the reciprocating saw just to cut through the nails that are holding the existing frame in place. It was really easy on the right side, but you'll see in a second, once we got to the left side, we had to like twist it out because my reciprocating saw wouldn't cut all the way down to the bottom. There's a big block of wood, and we just had to break the existing door frame out. I would have liked to keep it because we did end up selling the door later. It was supposed to come out in one clean piece, but then there's this humongous piece of wood that's got these big nails in it. So I'm gonna try to get the nails out, I guess. Wasp left looking for his family. They were right there in that little spot. I feel really bad, but I want to get stung, so. Yeah, there's a big chunk of concrete. I guess we're just gonna liquid nails that back into place. I don't know. That's what we're doing. We can't be without a door, so. Liquid nails open so that we can stick this piece of concrete that broke off back in place. So just squish some. Yes, I definitely don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Ever. But that's okay. We try anyway and we learn. If you got a problem, you don't know how to fix, put liquid nails on it. Our door hasn't fallen off yet. It's still working great, so that's good.
I didn't even know we had that at home.
Liquid nails?
Case.
So another thing to note is that on some doors you need to put flashing in, especially if your door is not recessed, like it doesn't have an overhang or roof over it or anything. Ours does. It's set back a few feet, so we don't have a lot of issues with water ingress. But if you have a door that's flush with the front of your house and doesn't have a big overhang, you definitely need to look at some videos of door installations. For situations like that, you might need to use some flashing or something to make sure you're not getting water in your house. Okay, another issue that we encountered was this. There's like a really big opening. Your house, you really don't want any kind of gaps like that because as you saw earlier, it gets a lot of bugs and dirt in it and stuff. Also, it's a big entry point for heat. You don't have any barrier for bugs or air or anything. So just use a spray foam that is made for doors. There's door and window spray foam that doesn't expand so much that it's gonna like push your door frame out of the way. Anyway, I'll link that below also. And then we're bringing the door in. It was very heavy and we brought it in very carefully because we didn't want to break anything, and then set it in the opening. And then I was just kind of rushing around because, you know, we didn't want the door to fall through to the other side. So trying to get the shims and get the first nail or first screws to set the door in place so that we don't have to hold it in place. And then you're going to check for level. You're going to check for plumb and for level and make sure your door is set correctly. And you're going to set the screws starting on the hinge side. Per your door's instruction, your door will tell you where to start and how to start. And then you're going to move over after you have a few screws and you're checking. Every time you put a screw in, you want to check for plumb and level, basically. And then you're going to move over to the jamb side, the other side of the door. In a second, we'll show that. But you can see it's a lot of finagling. And we did have an issue on this jamb side. You'll see us opening and closing the door several times because what happened was the frame, even though it looked like it was level and plumb, it actually was a little bit bowed. So the door kept catching on the jamb and we had to take it out and redo it and adjust the shims. And it's just a lot of things like that. And then next we moved on, once the door was in place, we moved on to, I wanted to salvage the exterior trim, but I wasn't able to salvage all of it. I only was able to use the little 1x1 brick mold that was existing. The other part of the existing frame got broken. So, and then here's the issue with the wall. Chipboard once before, because the wall's not level. Our door's level, the wall's not level. So you can see here, when we put this trim up next to it, you see down at the bottom, there's not really much of a gap, but when you go up, the gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So we have to, what I was watching on YouTube, is you basically trace the outline with a knife on the drywall, and then you take this off and you chip out the drywall behind it so that it can sit flush and then it doesn't stick out anymore. And here I'm questioning all of my decisions. And next up was to cut the trim for the interior side. If you have a miter saw, use a miter saw, it's easier. And then I took the trim back inside, and this is actually not the final setting of the trim. I was just putting in place so I could trace it with my knife and do the inset of the drywall to make the trim sit correctly. So once that was pinned, I took my knife and cut the edges, and here you can see I'm peeling off so that I can knock out some of the drywall there. And once that was all knocked out, I repinned the trim and it sit nicely around the door. And then using a paintable caulk, you're gonna caulk all the edges and then, you know, also putty any of your nail holes and stuff like that. And then wait for it to dry and sand and everything, and it'll be ready for the final coat of paint. And then pinning the the shoe mold back because there's a little bit of gap between our flooring and the threshold, and then setting the nails. And then it was ready for painting. I actually don't have any video of me painting the door, but you're gonna see the final color. You saw it in the beginning of the video too. I painted the door while the kids were asleep at night, and I was really just rushing to get it done. There's putting the trim on the exterior. I bought new trim. Oh, I'm showing our next project's gonna be the garage, and that door is gonna be a fun video for the interior doors as well. So stay tuned for that one. How you can update a boring slab door to a beautiful finished interior door. And then here pinning on the final trim for the exterior. I didn't do any miter cuts for this one. And you know, it was pretty smooth using that 1x existing trim. And here is the final shot of the new door. Looking beautiful, gorgeous, and we love it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, stay tuned for additional updates that we have. We have a few more projects that we're doing on the exterior of the house, and I think if you like that kind of stuff, you're really gonna love what we have upcoming. Hey guys, one more thing, really cool. If you're worried about privacy, awesome solution is this roll down blind without any hardware. It just has a little mechanism that holds it at the bottom. So you pull it down whenever you want to block it out. It is, you know, you really can't see anybody moving or anything, a little bit of light coming through, but it's a great solution for privacy at night. Okay, bye.